This is the audio for the Most Dangerous Game final quiz. There is a link right here at the top to the story. You can use the story on the quiz, and I will read each question. Question 1. The Most Dangerous Game is best described as a story about surviving falling off a boat, a deadly contest between two hunters, animals' instincts and behavior, survival on a deserted island. Question 2. In lines 109 to 110, Rainsford wonders what kind of men would live in so forbidding a place. His thoughts is an example of irony, climax, falling action, or foreshadowing. Question 3. In line 302, Zaroff says that hunting had ceased to be what you call a sporting proposition. What does he mean? Hunting leads to too many injuries. Hunting has become too easy for him. He thinks hunting is not a real sport. Hunting is the best sport. Question 4. What is the meaning of the word cultivated in the following sentence? In a cultivated voice, marked by a slight accent that gave it added precision and deliberateness, he said, "It's a very great pleasure and honor to welcome Mr. Sanger Rainsford, the celebrated hunter, to my home." Polite and civilized, stern and forceful, joyful and friendly, sad and lonely. 5. The main conflict Rainsford faces in this story is to enjoy hunting with Zaroff, to survive 3 nights as Zaroff hunts him, to stay safe from the wild animals on the island, or to swim to shore after falling off the ship. 6. What event is the climax of the story? Rainsford learns that Zaroff is going to hunt him. Rainsford escapes by leaping in the sea. Rainsford falls off the boat. Zaroff kills Ivan on the 3rd day of the hunt. Question 7. If something happens invariably, how often does it happen? Always, frequently, once or twice, never. 8. What does the word precariously mean in the following sentence? 300 yards from his hiding place, he stopped where a huge dead tree leaned precariously on a smaller living one. Carefully, gently, suddenly, or dangerously. Question 9. What can readers infer from the line, "He had never slept in a better bed," Rainsford decided? Rainsford had now taken over Zaroff's role. Rainsford needed a long nap after being hunted. Rainsford killed Zaroff and fed him to the hounds. Zaroff congratulated Rainsford and gave him his bed. 10. The following quote is an example of which literary device? The sea was flat as a plate glass window. Metaphor, irony, foreshadowing, or simile. 11. The following quote is an example of which literary device? The Cossack was the cat and he was the mouse. Simile, metaphor, personification, or foreshadowing. Question 12. The following quote is an example of which literary device? Night went by like a wounded snake. Metaphor, irony, foreshadowing, or simile. Question 13. Which of the following is the best synonym for affable? Friendly, impressive, offended, or humorous? 14. The following quote is an example of which literary device? The world is made up of 2 classes, the hunters and the huntees. Luckily, you and I are the hunters. Irony, foreshadowing, simile, or metaphor. Question 15. What line from the beginning of the rising action best shows the frightening mood? Doggedly he swam in that direction, swimming with slow, deliberate strokes. The cry was pitched offshore as the blood-warm waters of the Caribbean closed over his head. A certain cool-headedness had come to him. It was not the first time he had been in a tight place. We should have some good hunting up the Amazon. Good sport hunting. 16. Which of the following is the best synonym for lacerate? Cut, destroy, odor, or lasso. 17. Zaroff came to the island after he bought it in order to hunt on it, was born and raised on the island, inherited from his father, or was stranded on it by his crew. 18. What does the word droll mean in the following quote? Laughter shook the general. "How extraordinarily droll you are," he said. Educated, comical, cultured, conditioned, or upset. 19. What are 2 similarities between Rainsford and Zaroff? They are both cunning and evil. They are both hunters and arrogant. They are both clever and innocent. They are both wealthy and disbelieving. 20. Rainsford came to the island after he swam to it when his boat sank, swam to it after falling overboard, wanted to bring justice to Zaroff, or wished to write an article about Zaroff. Question 21. What does the word tangible mean in the following quote? His hands were tight closed as if his nerve were something tangible that someone in darkness was trying to tear from his grip. Something you imagine, something you dream about, something you can touch, something you hate. 22. What does the word uncanny mean in the following sentence? The general could follow a trail in the woods at night. He could follow an extremely difficult trail. He must have uncanny powers. Feeble, unrealistic, surpassing the ordinary, or terrifying. 23. The following quote is an example of which type of figurative language. 10 minutes of determined effort brought another sound to his ears, the most welcoming he had ever heard, the muttering and growling of the sea breaking on a rocky shore. Personification, irony, metaphor, or simile. 24. What does the word debacle mean in the following quote? After the debacle in Russia, I left the country, for it was imprudent for an officer of the Tsar to stay there. Many noble Russians lost everything. I, luckily, invested heavily in American security, so I shall never have to open a tea room in Monte Carlo or drive a taxi in Paris. Debate, disaster, dictator, or dinner. 25. The word vitality means a disposition toward being alone, a trait of being serious, an energetic style, or a desire to be inactive.